This is a quick video to help folks who are engaged in the Open Bullet project or using the base, the JGY-370. Previously, all of us used to use a different base that fit this motor. And we all know that the manufacturer of this motor took it off the market because they thought somehow that would make us buy their product. Think again. So, since most of you can't get one of these, this is my spare. Most of us have gone over to, again, the JGY-370 bases. The problem with this JGY-370 motor isn't necessarily the power, it's the length of the shaft. So you can see the original motor, which had a nice length to it, that this bullet feeder really was designed for, and then this one, and they're significant height difference. So this one's too short to work by itself. When you place it through, it just isn't quite enough to work this. Granted, you could redesign the bottom and make it thinner, but it could also make it weaker. Or alternatively, I've seen two other videos out there so far that have given some ways to extend the shaft. One guy, and I'll link them both below, one guy made, took, I think it was 6mm rod, has a lathe, and made a really nice part that replicated this shaft. It's awesome. I don't have a lathe, so, and probably most of you don't either. I saw another video, which I'll link below, where the individual removes this shaft and then adds a longer shaft and then welds a little T to the top of it, again, to replicate this. Again, that's still, it's a lot of work. Got to be able to weld. A lot of us don't have a welder. So I was looking for an option that would pretty much anybody can do. I found these. Comes in a bag. These are shaft couplers, 6mm ID shaft couplers, 14mm OD. Go in a bag of 6 on Amazon. They're like $8. Anybody can buy these and use them. The one downside to this method is that the hole, once these are on there, is going to be significantly bigger than what we had before. As you can see, this was 8mm, this is 14mm. So you're going to have to modify the base. Basically, you can use an 8mm drill bit or a 9/16, as I did. And then this fits through, no problem. The other issue you're going to run into is the bases. Your bases are all designed to fit an 8mm shaft with a roll pin, so you'll need to make new bases or drill out and Dremel the bases you have. And to me, that's really not a big deal. Here's an example of a base I've made because I'm trying to test this as a case feeder, not a bullet feeder. And you can see there's a huge hole in there to fit this design. But what is nice about this is we've got it comes with, it's double set screws on both sides. So we've got 2 set screws. So we get the first one established on the flat and crank it down real nice and tight. And for permanent installation, I would recommend some blue Loctite. And this is aluminum, so you don't want to crank too hard, you'll strip out the aluminum. But if ever loosened, some Loctite, so you get a nice connection with the shaft. Leaves plenty of room to move. So what's cool is they have 2 threaded holes, and these are M3, I believe, or M4. I think maybe it's sorry, M4, not M3. M4 holes. So you can either modify your base or drill it. I printed the original one. I put the 9/16 hole in there. Then you can screw on 2 M4 screws to make your shaft. to make the make up for the missing roll pin. And these go on pretty tight, but you could Loctite those in place too. I'm going to finish putting the other screws in. I'll be right back. So here it is screwed together. The height of this is just about identical, very close to the original motor we're all using. You can see it spins freely, it's doing its job. Again, the base, I just made this, so I designed it with a hole to fit this much larger shaft and pin design. This is the original 13mm height plate. You can see it sticks out just a little bit above it, not bad. And there it is. So you could absolutely use this method to deal with the new motor dilemma. Again, you got to change all your base plates, but that's something you have control over. If you don't have a lathe or a welding setup, anybody can actually do this. It's not too hard to take any of Mike's plates and modify those. It's very simple to just enlarge a hole. So anyway, I hope you find this useful. I'll link the parts for the shaft collars below. Thanks.